Hi guys, and welcome to Football Canapes. And this show is all about what has happened over the weekend in Premier League, and and we'll be talking about all the talking points during the weekend in the Premier League world. So if you have anything to talk about, do get it off your chest, and we will be discussing it. No holds barred approach in this uh, in this uh, in this live show. So so do get involved in the chat, and we will be talking about whatever there is to talk about. So yeah, I have checked. The volume is working fine, and so we will be talking about what has happened over the weekend in the Premier League. Let me just get the house in order, just setting a couple of things aside, and then we are ready to go. Absolutely, we are ready to go. And and yeah, so we are ready to go, and so we'll be talking about what has happened over the weekend. The North London derby, Liverpool's loss to Nottingham Forest, Manchester United's impressive win. I mean, like, it was what it was. They beat Southampton 3-0, and then we will be talking about all the off-field drama that is taking place as well. So where should we begin? I mean, let's get into the this live show with all the things that we do want to talk about. Let's just talk about Manchester City, and then we will gradually build into the show about the really teething issues in the Premier League, with the big results. The North London derby, uh, Liverpool's loss to Liverpool's loss to Manchester City. Liverpool's loss to Nottingham Forest. Newcastle's impressive win, as well as Aston Villa's impressive comeback against Everton. So let's start with Erling Haaland's Manchester City. Erling Haaland scored twice again. Now he has got, how many goals has he got? He's got 9 goals in just 4 games. So thankfully, going forward, we will get some teams that he might say, okay, I'll go easy on you, and I mean, nine. So by my reckoning, he should be getting 81, what, 4 games, 9 goals. So he'll be getting, if he plays every game, so 4 nines are 36, 9 nines are 81. So he will end up getting 85, approximately 85, 86 goals in the Premier League. Of course, that is not going to happen, but he could easily get 40, 42, maybe 44 goals in just the Premier League, and then extended Champions League, maybe if he plays in the cups, uh, and other competition as well. So I mean, like, the sky is the limit for Erling Haaland, and sky is the limit for Erling Haaland. Brentford made an impressive start, scoring after just 22 seconds, and but Erling Haaland is the main guy. Edison, great keeper. Now he has got more assists than Anthony in the Premier League, and yeah. So I mean, like, where would Manchester City be without Erling Haaland? One thing is for sure, that they wouldn't have sold they wouldn't have sold Julian Alvarez to Atletico Madrid, and they would have signed a striker, perhaps someone like Victor Osimhen, and worrisome for me is they might come for Alexander Isak as well. I'm not sure how serious his injury is going into the busy run of games that every team is going to have, and they might come in for Alex Isak, and of course the news is it's already past midnight here. So as of today, it's Monday, and Manchester City's trial against those charges, however many there are, 115 or 130, as some reports have suggested, it has become. So is set to begin. It is set to last 7 or 8 weeks, and then the judgment, whatever it is, it will take. It will take. It will take. What, 7 or 8 weeks to write as well, so that whenever they or whichever party appeals, uh, if they appeal, then then they know what they are appealing, and what they are appealing, and that will become that will become you know an issue as well. This is Manchester City's best start that they have made ever since watching uh, I've been watching football. I mean, ever since Pep Guardiola to came into came into Manchester City in 2016. I mean, 4 wins out of 4. It can't get any better than that. Better than that. They are in Champions League as well. Um, they are in Carabao Cup as well. Not sure who they have, and I'm not sure who they have in the Carabao Cup, but they play Inter Milan in the Champions League. So whoever they have, they will be playing in the next week. They'll play uh, those uh, those uh, those games. Or their set of games will be played in in the next week. I mean, as that hearing runs into the next week, more and more newspapers will start to talk about the charges, and newspaper headlines. News will be, find itself. News will find itself in there are always sources, and it will be interesting to see how the trial is going, and if anything about the trial, Manchester City trial, breaks, any news leaks through, and any leaks that come through, if they affect Manchester City players on the field or not. Uh, I mean, ideally that shouldn't, but the Premier League have a case that is they believe is strong enough, and I mean, that will become a talking point. That will become a talking point, whether it be radio stations, whether it be newspaper, whether it be television set. So I mean, um, there are a lot of teething issues for Manchester City to, they deal with, and the punishments that they could face. They are, I mean, some of them are really bad. They're talking about they might get thrown out of the league, they might get relegated to League One, they might get relegated to Championship, they might get a points deduction to they might get points deductions uh, put them to effectively relegate them. Will the EFL accept Manchester City in their ranks? Because then if Manchester City are relegated, whether it's three teams going down or four teams that are going down, it's going to be an almighty mess for Premier League to deal with. And then all sorts of legal issues, PSR related issues come through, because teams can claim that they lost out on revenue, they because they didn't qualify for the Champions League. Teams might say something else. So that ways it's going to be an all mighty mess that would need to be cleared up by the Premier League. And Manchester City currently sit top of the table. Arsenal, today we will get to Arsenal and their win against Tottenham, mightily impressive that was as well. And and you know I've been I've been talking about it. Manchester United can say that we finished second twice, we deserve two titles. Liverpool can say that we finished second twice, behind Arsenal, behind Manchester City. We deserve our two titles. I mean, like, the possibilities that could happen, that will be explored if, and I want to reiterate the if part of it, if Manchester City are found guilty. And there's no definite way to know whether they will or whether they won't be found guilty or not. And whether they will or they won't be found guilty or not. But time will tell about the Manchester City trial. And of course there is another case that is going on currently, the third party ruling case that Manchester City are, they have sued the Premier League. So if if that thing comes to a boil, uh, it might bring another house down. It might affect Premier League's confidence going into the trial. That might have some sort of an effect. The expectation is the news regarding the associate party deals, or the ATP deals as they are called, associate third party deals. The expectation is, today is what, in India at least it is 16th of September. The expectation is that by the end of the month, so 2 weeks, in 2 weeks time, we should we should expect some sort of ruling on that. The judgment might be getting written. And the expectation is that Manchester City will get some wins out of those out of those you know whatever points they have raised with the judges that are overseeing this whole thing. So we'll wait and find out what happens with those two cases. But whichever way the cookie crumbles, both the teams, Manchester City's team and and Manchester City's team and the Premier League's team, they both just a minute. They both can expect they both can expect some rocky moments in the next few weeks, months, or whatever time it takes. So it will be a time that that isn't short on that isn't that is so I mean Manchester City's case is what will be coming on to on the pitch performance. I've told you impressive performance against Brentford. Now I want to talk about the North London derby, the game that took place uh, earlier today between the North London rivals, between Arsenal and Tottenham Hotspur at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I mean, Arsenal were missing, you could say, their first choice midfield. In Mikel Merino is injured, Rice was suspended, Odegaard is injured. So, I mean, Arsenal had a lot of players missing in terms of defense. Calafiori was missing as well, and Julian Timber came into the team Julian Timber came in to the team for uh, for the Gunners. No Alexander Zinchenko on the bench either. No Tomiyasu either. So that they were short staffed. There were a lot of youngsters on the bench, people whose names I haven't even heard of. So I mean, and Arsenal put in a rock solid display. I mean, let me get this out early. There was never a danger of Arsenal losing this game, having analyzed the game that I watched for however minutes it went on, 100 minutes or so. There was never a danger of Arsenal losing because they were never going to concede. It at worst Arsenal were going to get a nil-nil draw between Arsenal were going to get a nil-nil draw and they absolutely played they absolutely played um, I mean like it was like men against boys. They said come here, come to our side and beat us, and Spurs just weren't they didn't have the nous, and Spurs weren't clever enough, smart enough to trouble uh, Arsenal, who in the last two seasons have finished uh, have finished second, and they just absolutely wiped the floor with Spurs. So in terms of performances, Spurs players were absolutely horrid, absolute horrid. James Madison is, I mean, is fast becoming a farce. He his performances are deteriorating by the day. He's just not good enough. James Madison. He puts in performances which lets his teams down. He did cross. He did make a couple of crosses, but they weren't good enough to trouble Arsenal. As I said, Timber, Gabriel, Saliba, and Ben White, they were absolutely outstanding today in the North London derby and they the the team from North London that is that is that is the team Arsenal came out on top. I mean, both teams are from North London, so apologies about that. So yeah, a bit of a slip of a tongue from my side. And so, as I was saying, James Madison not good enough. James Madison wasn't good enough. Heung-min Son, Ben White absolutely dominated him. Ben White absolutely dominated Heung-min Son. Brennan Johnson, he's not going to pull up any trees and he's not going to get anywhere quick. You're not going to get anywhere quick with Brennan Johnson either. He's not good enough. And then Wilson Odobert is just a young kid signed from a uh, club in the championship. Yes, he was with the PSG's academy, and I'm pretty sure in time he will come good. But whether it will be for um, whether it will be for Spurs or not, or by the time hits his potential, he might be playing for a big club like Chelsea, Arsenal, not Arsenal. He probably won't be going straight to Arsenal from Spurs. So I mean, Spurs need to look at themselves, their players, whether they are good enough. Ange Postecoglou, his substitutions were poor, and some of the players, I mean. Were absolute shocking. I've said that. Uh, Ange Postecoglou makes changes. He doesn't change the formation. All he does is he changes the what do you call personnel. So comes on for Brennan Johnson. He does the same thing. I mean, Johnson couldn't beat Johnson couldn't beat Timber, and neither could Odober, and that's how it was. Papsar, he comes on for he comes on for Rodrigo Bentancur. His performances are equally shocking. He couldn't beat his man, that is again Timber, and and so I mean there was a lot to moan over about Spurs' performances. I will get to Arsenal as well because they were mightily impressive as well. Uh, their performances. It's not down to Spurs what they didn't do. It's about what Arsenal did as well. So that ways it's important to you know go from negative to positive. There are a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff that has gone over the weekend that we have to talk about. We will get to Arsenal's good performance, but currently on Spurs, and then there's Chelsea's chaos as well. We will be talking about that too, and we will be talking about that too. And yeah, so there is indeed a lot to talk about over the weekend. So just in case you're watching, do get involved in the chat and do leave a like for the video as well. I'll be really thankful if you can do that. Helps the channel grow. It's a small channel, new channel, and so, I mean, Vicario poor. The goal came from a, the goal came from a, the goal came from a corner, Bukayo Saka corner, which was headed in by Gabriel and Christian Romero. You got to do more, and like he gets sucked under the ball. There are three players: Solanke, Bentancur, and even Romero itself himself. So it was perhaps a collective, but Romero this, Romero that, best defender in the league. Not a fucking chance. Not a fucking chance. It's it's not something that Tottenham fans will be proud of. It's their worst start to the season for I don't know how many years. And 4 points. They are currently 13th in the league. I will get to the table as well. Let me just bring up the table as well to reiterate some of the things that we are going to talk about. And yeah, so here it is. Uh, uh, so Spurs are currently what, 13th in the table, and 13th in the table, and uh, Spurs are currently 13th in the table. Let me just adjust the picture so that you can see where the teams are. I'm pretty sure you can see it now. No point showing Everton because they are pointless. Get the joke? No? Okay, fine. So, what has happened there? What's happened there? Oh, so I guess that should work. That should work. So, I mean, if it wasn't for um, Mickey Van de Ven, then it would have been even worse for you know even worse for even worse for Spurs. They could have lost even badly against Arsenal. And so Spurs are currently what, 13th in the table. They're struggling big time. In the four games, they've just beaten Everton, who are at the bottom of the table. Once again, would request you to do join in the chat if you feel like. Do leave a like for the video. Anyways, coming back to Spurs. Uh, I mean, against Newcastle, against Arsenal, both times they have had good performances. I mean, like they have had a lot of the ball, but they haven't, uh, scored enough goals against Newcastle. You could say they were unlucky, but today they were absolutely shambolic. Spurs, that is, they didn't do anything. And I mean, uh, Christian Romero, not good enough. I mean, I don't know how he gets lauded for all the stuff he does, because his main point is his main task is to defend, and he just can't defend. I mean, like Spurs have had what, four clean sheets in their in the last in the last in the last 37 games. That's worse than a relegation team. That's how bad it is. That's how bad it is for Spurs. And yeah, so I mean, that is Spurs' problem. They have to deal with it. I'm pretty sure they will deal with it when they realize the kind of shit they are in, and the kind of shit that they are in. And but moving on to Arsenal, it was a brilliant performance by Arsenal as well. They uh, I mean, as I said at the start of the segment where we talked about Arsenal, they were basically without six or seven key players: Calafiori, Zinchenko, Tomiyasu, Marino, Rice, and Odegaard. and I'm pretty sure I'm missing someone as well. So they went and did a real job on uh, a real job on Spurs, and I mean real credit goes to their defense. Yeah, I mean, if you ask me, maybe, maybe Timber could have had a red card, but not too sure about that. Not too sure about that, and not too sure. And Could Timber have had a red card? I'm not too sure. But in terms of defense, they were absolutely outstanding. They were absolutely outstanding. Timber, Gabriel, Saliba, and Ben White. And In the end, I don't think Arsenal even had a defender to bring on the pitch, and they did an excellent job, all of them. And Arsenal have conceded just one goal. That was when they were down to 10 men against Brighton, and that was when they were down to 10 men against Brighton, and they just they I mean, if they can keep up the form like this and the defenders that they have, then why not? They could realistically challenge Manchester City for the title. I think the more we hear about these Manchester City trial issues and etc., I think some of it will filter its way onto the pitch, and we might not see a City side that is as strong as what it was earlier in the Pep years. They are on. I mean, like, they are chasing five Premier League titles in a row, but Arsenal, in the last 3 or 4 seasons, every season they have you can see where the improvements have been made. Last year they went on and bought some good players. This year they brought in Sterling, who I think more or less will be a squad player, or could take the place of Bukayo Saka, or not Saka, Trossard, Martinelli, these kind of players, and so Sterling can do a job for Arsenal. And Ethan Nwaneri, who we saw, was good. He was better than any Spurs midfielder that was on the pitch. So Arsenal, I mean, kudos to them. I ran a poll. I genuinely thought that the draw was best that Arsenal could do in this uh, in this game. But Arsenal were a different beast. They uh, they they absolutely tore. Um, I mean, like, they didn't give Tottenham a cake after they conceded, and after they scored. That is, Arsenal scored, and yeah. So brilliant by Arsenal, and brilliant by Arsenal. And let's now talk about the game that uh, what should we talk about? Let's talk about Liverpool. Liverpool were, I mean, they were playing Nottingham Forest at home. They were expected to beat Nottingham Forest at home, but Nottingham Forest did a real job on them as well. And as you can see, Liverpool are currently fourth in the table behind Newcastle. I had to get that in there. Liverpool were absolutely shocking as well. Mo Salah, his passing, his shooting, everything. I mean, lacked. He. I'm not sure if he played how many minutes he played for Egypt, but how many minutes he played for Egypt, but he was not good. And you know, if Salah is not good, you need other players to pick up the form for him. I mean, like he is allowed to have off days, and and I mean Diego Jota, he's I mean, like he's decent, but he's not something who's going to score you three or four. I mean, like not three or four. I mean, like hat trick or something like that. He might score an odd goal or two, but in a game. But Salah is your main man. Luis Diaz, he hit the post, but wasn't uh, wasn't good enough on the day, and wasn't good enough on the day, and Spurs, not Spurs, Nottingham Forest made Liverpool pay on the day, and it was it was a really poor performance by really poor performance by really poor performance by Liverpool. They they I mean, they didn't do enough. Arne Slot's substitutions were curious, moving Trent Alexander-Arnold into midfield. I mean, like let me tell you this: Trent Alexander-Arnold cannot play in midfield. He's not a midfielder. A good passer doesn't mean that he can. You put someone in midfield because he can pass the ball well. I mean, does that mean you play Ederson in midfield because he can pass the ball well? You have to track runners, you have to do other defensive side, you have to do dirty things in the game as well. So I mean, Arne Slot needs to get that thing right, in my opinion, because that might come back to haunt Liverpool going forward, and that might uh, that might come back to haunt Liverpool going forward, and yeah, so the substitutions were poor, and I mean Connor Bradley, he was the one who got torn apart by Callum Hudson-Odoi for the goal. It was a good goal, by the way, and it was a good goal, by the way, and he cut inside Anthony Langa and Hudson-Odoi, one of formerly of Manchester United, one formerly of Chelsea, and in fact, Hudson-Odoi won the Under 17 World Cup with England as well in India, and and it was it was I mean, really impressive performance by Nuno's men. I didn't expect them to you know go out there and go out there and do anything. At best, I thought they could get a draw. By the way, how good was Elliot Anderson? I was switching between the Man City game and the Chelsea game. Oh, and the Liverpool game. So didn't watch I mean, had to watch both together. So Elliot Anderson, formerly of Newcastle, he was superb for he was superb for uh, Nottingham Forest. And Liverpool up next for them, I think, is AC Milan. Liverpool play AC Milan. I'm not sure whether that is at Anfield or San Siro, but a Champions League game, and that will be followed by a game against Bournemouth, and then Liverpool play in the Liverpool play in the uh, Liverpool play in the Carabao Cup. Not sure who they are playing. Liverpool are playing, but uh, so So I mean, Liverpool need to you know Arne Slot needs to get a grip of his players and tell them what exactly he wants. I mean, Arne Slot made an excellent start to the season. Might be riding crest of a wave where he got a side from Jurgen Klopp, which was very good, and then he got three good results. But now tougher challenges are going to come. Liverpool now will play big teams as well. Um, Milan is certainly one of them. Uh, they were playing Venezia yesterday, Milan that is, and they did really well. And so Liverpool need to improve, and Arne Slot uh, injuries etc. might affect his teams. We saw yesterday, the squad is thin. Liverpool didn't buy anybody. Chiesa wasn't even on the bench for Chiesa wasn't even on the bench for Liverpool, and Chiesa wasn't even on the bench for Liverpool, and Gravenberg is the only center half that he's selecting. Wataru Endo can't even get in the team. So Wataru Endo can't even get in the team, and that is just not. I mean, like not done if he's not going to. Although we might see Anislot selecting Wataru Endo in the Carabao Cup. So we'll 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 wait and see what happens with Liverpool, whether Arne Slot uses Wataru Endo or not. But congratulations to Nottingham Forest. They did really well to get 3 points at Anfield. Not many teams, not many teams get them, and um, not many teams get them. So congratulations to Nottingham Forest. They put hard work in, and then they got their due reward at Anfield. Now moving over to Manchester United, there were a lot of and I mean a lot of negative press surrounding An not Arne Slot, uh, not Arne Slot, definitely not. So there was a lot of negative press surrounding Eric Ten Hag. He needed a result. And boy did he get one. I mean, you could say that Eric Ten Hag was lucky to get a win. Maybe he would have won anyways, but the fact that the fact that uh, the fact that Cameron Archer missed a penalty, and then moments later, Matthias de Ligt scored for Manchester United. Did put cat amongst the Southampton pigeons, and Southampton were chasing the game after that. After that, it was what do you call Marcus Rashford scored. He could have scored earlier as well, and I mean, yeah. And then in the second half, Jack Stephens. I'm not sure what he was trying to do. I mean, have to say, it was one of the most boring second half, or any half of football I've ever seen in my life. There was just nothing going on. You know, there was just nothing going on between the two teams, and there was just nothing going on between the two teams, and then Jack Stevens Jack Stephens does what he does, and and gets himself sent off. It's just absolutely diabolical. You know, he uh, he he let his team down, and given the fact that he's the captain. He's the captain is makes it all the more worse for all the more worst for his team, and I mean, and after that it was I mean, Alejandro Garnacho puts icing on the cake with a finish that I mean, they were playing against 10 men, and Eric Ten Hag might say that some luck. He deserves some luck for all the shit he has had to deal with, and all the shit that he has had to deal with, and yeah, good for him. Um, Manchester United, they have I think they've got Barnsley in the Carabao Cup, and then Crystal Palace away. So that is going to be another tough game for that is going to be uh, another tough game for another tough game for Manchester United. Whether they have the squad to cope with all these games or not, I'm not sure. Time will tell. Time will tell, and and yeah. So we'll wait and see what happens with that, and we'll wait and see what happens with that. But Eric Ten Hag must be delighted. Matthias de Ligt on his first start scored for uh, Manchester United. It's it's I mean, he's a leader. He's a leader, Matthias de Ligt, and Manchester United. Yeah, onwards and upwards for them. They, as you can see, they are 10th in the league. They're 10th in the league, and they are 10th in the league, and if they win the next few games, they have tough games coming up as well. If they win their next few games, they could climb up the table, and who knows what we can expect out of Manchester United. I don't have much expectations out of Manchester United, to be honest. I think they will struggle for the better part of the season. I think definitely struggle. They will definitely struggle for the better part of the season, as Europa League takes its toll on their players, and as Europa League takes its toll on their players. So I just do genuinely think that they will struggle. Carabao Cup, and Eric Ten Hag will have to mix and match, and I just see a lot of struggle for Manchester United in the months ahead. Hopefully, from Manchester United's point of view, hopefully I'm wrong, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll definitely see what happens, and we'll definitely see what happens. So let's move on to the story that has been bubbling away. I mean, and it came to a boil. It came to a boil uh, in the last week or so, in the international break. That's Chelsea. Yes, yes, they Yes, they beat Bournemouth, but I can tell you they were incredibly lucky to beat Bournemouth. Bournemouth were definitely the better side. Bournemouth were definitely the better side and deserved to win. Once again, just like Southampton, you have to capitalize on your moments. And Evan Nielsen, when he had the chance from the penalty spot, buddy, you have to score. I know this is your first season in the Premier League, but you have to score. And you have to score. And he missed. It was a good save by Robert Sanchez. He was the one who conceded the penalty, and it was a good save by Robert Sanchez. And it was a good save by Robert Sanchez. But uh, They hit the bar with Marcus Tavernier. They hit the post through Ryan Christie, and it was what it was. It was what it was. Christopher and Kunku, Jadon Sancho, they combined, and Bournemouth were left to rue the missed chances that they had and that they had and that they had and yeah, it was it was disappointing from their point of view. They were unbeaten going into the season, going into the game, and they paid the price for they paid the price for you know not putting their chances away, not taking their chances. So they got punished. Chelsea. I mean, the one thing that I have been waiting for, I've been building up to this, and there was a reason I I waited till the very last moment. I waited till the very last moment to talk about this, and that is the Chelsea boardroom chaos that has been going on, in the background. Chelsea, my goodness, I'm almost an hour into the show and almost an hour into the show, and I'm like, what the bloody hell? What the bloody hell? I mean, where do I begin? I mean, where do I begin? It's absolutely calamitous from Chelsea point of view. Clearlake Capital and Todd Boehly took over Chelsea Football Club in 2022, and I mean, like, the expectation was after Roman Abramovich sold Chelsea that Clearlake Capital as well as Todd Boehly. I initially thought they were like Clearlake Capital was the same organization, and Todd Boehly was part of Clearlake Capital, but clearly not. It's two different entities. Todd Boehly owns about 38% of the Chelsea Football Club, and Clearlake Capital own about 62% of the 62% of Chelsea Football Club. And in the last week or so, news has come out that the face of Clearlake Capital, that is Biedad Iqbali and Todd Bowley, are just not on talking terms. They they're just not on talking terms. They are not friends. They were never friends, and the two have the two have very different vision for the club. They want different ways. Todd Bowley wanted to keep Mauricio Pochettino, but Biedad Iqbali or Clear Lake Capital wanted to get rid of Mauricio Pochettino, and they we all know what happened in the end. There have been other reports as well that have said that Chelsea Chelsea um, that Chelsea, that Todd Boehly has been very hands off in his ways over the last few months, when it comes to buying players and all the drama that surrounds Chelsea. And so Todd Bowley has been very hands off, and the two approaches for two for two the two approaches that the two main men have had are are markedly different. Bedad Iqbali basically wants to flip players. He just wants to buy Brazilian uh, Brazilian youngsters and sell them at profit, while uh, while uh, while Boehly, he wants to buy ready-made superstars and wants to grow the team in terms of off on-field performances. So you can see that clearly capital are clearly venture capitalists. They want value for their money. They have spent a lot of money when it comes to a football club. They have spent a ton of money, and maybe they want to see some return coming out from that as well. And they want some reward to come out of that as well. And whether it does or doesn't, we'll wait and find out. We'll wait and find out. But this cannot continue if you are a Chelsea fan. This this thing is I mean soon enough. I mean, like as I said, Chelsea cannot continue like this. This thing sooner or later will tear the club apart. And Enzo Maresca, if he didn't have a tough job on its hands, and already, then going forward it's going to get even tougher if the boardroom drama continues, because he'll be continually asked he'll be continually asked about the stuff that is going on off the pitch. And I mean, fair enough, he could say that he only deals with the stuff that goes on the pitch, and he's a decent coach. He's worked with Pep. He got Leicester promoted to the Premier League as well. And he got Leicester promoted to the Premier League, albeit there were bumps on the road when it comes to Leicester City. So I mean, like, Chelsea is a whole different story. I don't know who Chelsea play next week. Uh, let's just find out. So I mean, I like just going through some of the stuff, if anything is breaking or not. And so this thing will sooner or later it will tear apart. Chelsea, and it will tear apart Chelsea, and they need to make sure that or everyone is on the same page. The funny part is that both Todd Boehly and Clearlake want to buy both both want to buy each other out. Whether they can or can't, I don't know. Um, because if 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 I mean, if I'm a Chelsea fan, which I'm not, and I had to choose between one of Boehly and one of Todd Boehly and one of Todd Boehly and Clearlake Capital. I would go with Todd Boehly because he seems to be more of a footballing guy than Clearlake Capital. Clearlake are like really a bunch of venture capitalists who want return for their money, and I mean if Chelsea decide to move on from from Stamford Bridge, then I mean that's another story. We will we will talk about that as well, and we will talk about that as well maybe in later videos. But if uh, if uh, if Chelsea want to move to a different stadium, and but two different sporting directors, maybe Lawrence Stewart and Paul Winstanley. I mean, is that indicative of that that indicative of that two sides, Todd Bowley and Clearlake Capital? So we'll wait and see. But an impressive result on the pitch, and an impressive result on the pitch, which should do them, which should do Chelsea a lot of good. Not sure who they play in the Carabao Cup. I'm not sure of these fixtures that Chelsea have coming up, and and yeah, so we'll wait and see what happens with Chelsea. But it's not over. It's not over. We will see more of that, and plus Chelsea have a pending with the case pending with Premier League regarding some of the things that went on with the previous owner, that is Roman Abramovich. There were payments made to agents discreetly, and I mean payments made to agents allegedly, and maybe that issue will come to the fore, and 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 I mean there's lot going on that Chelsea fans should be worried about, and that Chelsea fans should be worried about long term. We'll wait and find out what happens with Chelsea, and what happens with Chelsea. But for now, it's all good on the pitch, and and yeah. So we'll see what happens with Chelsea. But for now, it's all good, and it's all good, and on the pitch at least Christopher and Kunku and company scoring. They have a good squad. They should actually walk the Conference League teams like Noah, Astana, Shamrock Rovers. My goodness, uh, Chelsea kids should be beating some of the teams in. I don't want to be disrespectful, but that's my opinion, and that's my opinion. Chelsea kids should be beating some of the teams in the Europa Conference League, and they are clearly the favorites. Clearly the favorites going into the Europa Conference League, which begins next week, in the middle of next week. Let me see which if I cover that or not. But that's all about Chelsea done. I know I've devoted quite a lot of time to this Chelsea stuff, and to this Chelsea stuff, and and we will talk about some other uh, stuff of stuff as well. Five other matches to get through. Um, Manchester United and Brighton, who are currently sixth in the table, they would be disappointed with their result, nil-nil against Ipswich. They could have lost that game easily. Liam Delap could have scored an absolute screamer. He could have scored Liam Delap, and he could have scored an absolute screamer, Liam Delap. And but Brighton, is it typical Brighton? Are they, beginning to fall off? Fall off. They won their first two games against Manchester United and who else did they beat? Manchester United, and who else did Brighton beat in their first game? Um, Everton, they beat 3 nil, and so I mean we'll say it's a typical Brighton. I mean, good start to the league, and by the time September October comes round, they start to fall off, and then they have some good spells where, and in the end, they finish they finish somewhere between 8th and 13th. That's is that what Brighton are all about. Now moving on to Aston Villa, as you can see in the table, they are currently fifth in the table with 9 points, 3 wins out of four. The one match that they lost, they should have won. Ollie Watkins with two absolutely honking misses that he had against David Raya, and I mean credit to Raya, he saved those efforts. I mean, like one he literally put wide. The other, the other was a good save. Although Anana's shot hit the bar and it could have gone in as well, and it could have gone in as well. So yeah, I mean, they beat Everton 3-2. And just talking about Everton, I'll mix and match between Aston Villa and Everton. And Aston Villa and Everton, Everton, as you can see, they are currently bottom of the table with with how many points they have? Zero, absolutely zero. And so they are pointless. I mean, is it pointless talking about them? Maybe not. But anyways, but we will still talk about Everton, because they are setting records left, right, and center, and not all the good records. So we will talk about Aston Villa and Everton concurrently. And so as I was saying that as I was saying, uh, Everton last time round against Bournemouth at home, Goodison Park, they went 2-0 up, and then in the last 8 or 9 minutes they just capitulated. They just collapsed. Just absolutely collapsed, and and in the and they ended up losing 3-2. Fine, that could happen. I mean, like, it could happen, but it usually normally doesn't happen. But okay, okay, maybe maybe you have two weeks to chew over the fact and get over it. But then I mean, against Aston Villa, you go 2-0 up at Villa Park, goals from Dwight McNeil and Dominic Calvert-Lewin, but then you just absolutely collapse again. You concede just before the half time, just before the half time, and you go 1-0, you go into the break 2-1. Sean Dyche should be yelling at his players to, not make any mistakes, not make any mistakes. But what happens next? Jack Harrison, I mean, unwittingly plays it into the path of plays it into the path of plays it into the path of Ollie Watkins, an England striker, and he makes no mistake. He makes no mistake. Ollie Watkins could easily have had a hat trick in this game. Morgan Rogers, he was good as well. He 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 perhaps should have found he should have found Ollie Watkins for his third goal, but then on comes John Duran, and he lets fly an absolute screamer. And like that would be definitely a goal of the month contender. But there were others as well, which we will talk about. I'll get to Newcastle next, and Everton then become the first team. I mean, I think might be first team ever in the top flight to become a team that Everton become the first team ever in the top flight to be 2 goals up and end up losing both games by 3 goals to two. I mean, absolutely unbelievable from Everton. Uh, I mean, to be honest, I can imagine their pain, the pain that fans are going through. I mean, it genuinely is not easy. It genuinely is not easy. It genuinely is not easy being a fan where at a club where this takeover drama every week. There are um, owners of other clubs talking about your club and talking about your club and talking about your club and how I mean, like, and then there is there is a stadium thing as well going on, and there is stadium thing going on as well in the background. Everton are in deep, deep mire. I mean, like, used a lot of used a lot of expletives today, and but Everton are in deep mire. Uh, Teams that they have played so far are Bournemouth, Aston Villa, Tottenham, and Brighton. I mean, they haven't played Man City, Arsenal, Newcastle, Liverpool, Chelsea, Manchester United. These teams, they're still yet to play. I mean, imagine the honking defeats that they're going to get then. West Ham, Tottenham. I mean, they have played Tottenham. Sorry. So I mean, it doesn't look good for Everton, honestly, and it genuinely. I mean, like, I'm worried for Everton. Not that I care, but I am worried that this could be a season where. And on top of that, their best defender is injured, and Michael Keane is making mistakes after mistakes after mistakes, which uh, which isn't helping his cause. So his his cause. So I mean, I mean, if I were an Everton fan, I'd be I'd be genuinely I would be genuinely worried. I would be genuinely worried with the stuff that is going on, and with the stuff that is going on, and coming to Aston Villa, uh, brilliant result for them. They've lost. They've lost one game so far. That was to Arsenal. There's no shame in losing to Arsenal. Of course, there isn't. But the thing is that they should have won that game or not lost that game. So I mean, they should have won that game or not lost that game. And I mean, they begin their Champions League campaign later in this week. They I think they play Young Boys of Bern of Switzerland. So I mean, in that's after 41 years that Aston Villa in the Champions League. Are in the Champions League, and it's a it's a it's a great achievement for them. Sometimes you know, I'm a bit disappointed that Newcastle had so many injuries last season that so many injuries last season. Otherwise, Newcastle would have finished in the Champions League. We dropped a lot of points where we wouldn't have dropped points, and whether that takes its toll on Aston Villa this season, from PSR point of view, it already has. They have lost one of their better midfielders in Douglas Luiz. Kamara is injured as well. Kamara is injured as well. But Emiliano Buendia is back for Aston Villa. We saw him play. Jacob Ramsey is back as well, and they've sent out two players on loan, Samuel Illing Jr. as well as who's gone to Bologna, and Enzo Berenchea has gone on loan to some Spanish side, either Valencia or Villarreal. I'm not too sure. The guy that they got in return for Douglas Luiz. So I mean, Bundia and Ramsey should add a lot of steel to a lot of steel to a lot of steel to Aston Villa. They have a decent squad. Maybe they could have done with a second choice keeper, a decent second choice keeper, but I'm not even sure who is their second choice keeper and and what happens with him. And but what will be congratulations to Aston Villa on coming back from a goal down and no, two goals down and and you know and winning against Everton, albeit an absolutely shocking Brentford Everton team. Everton play Leicester next, and we'll talk about Leicester now. They should have won. They were 2-0 up against. They were 2-0 up against. They were 2-0 up against. They were 2-0 up against Crystal Palace, and they blew it. They absolutely blew it. They conceded two poor goals. To you know, they conceded two poor goals, and and they conceded two poor goals to to just draw the game. By the way, Mark Gahey, who was linked with the move to Newcastle United, he still looks to be playing in treacle. Jamie Vardy rinsed him, absolutely rinsed him, rinsed Mark Gahey. It wasn't good enough by Mark Gahey. He I mean, maybe he's playing for a move, for a January move. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure. And and uh, Crystal Palace, they are currently in 16th on 2 points. Whether they have a good season, they certainly won't get relegated, and I don't think they are good enough to get into a European place. So we'll see where Crystal Palace go, and where Crystal Palace go, and yeah, we'll see what happens with Crystal Palace. But still 90 90% of the Premier League season, more than 90% of the Premier League season is still to be played out, and we will see what happens with these two teams. But Leicester will be up against it, the way they play, and but Steve Cooper needs to be needs to be careful, or he might end up getting the sack, because because I mean, he has previously managed Nottingham Forest, and yeah, that's how it is. So two more games left to analyze. Two more games left. Is it two more? Yeah, two more. Let's head to Fulham versus West Ham. Another one of those London derbies. I mean, I have a little knowledge of this game. I know that Fulham took the lead through Raul Jimenez, who poked in a good cross by, not sure who it was, honestly. Emil Smith Rowe, actually. Yeah, I remember. And who poked in a good who poked home a good cross by Emil Smith Rowe, and then Danny Ings popped. Danny Ings now playing with West Ham, and in the 95th minute he equalized for West Ham. Have to say, it's been a poor start for West Ham. I expected actually more out of West Ham in this uh, in this season, but they have been poor. I mean, neither manager is under pressure, and neither manager is under pressure, but but you know, you need to be getting results. You need to be getting results, and you need to be getting results, and unfortunately, it was perhaps a result that Fulham could have done with. They could have done with this result, and they could have done with this result, and but they didn't. They didn't get it. They didn't get it, and in the end, paid for it. I didn't watch the game, so I don't have much information about the game. And last but not least, my beloved Newcastle United, and and uh, and yeah, good start, just like the Bournemouth game. Then concede, Mario Lamina scoring. I mean, like, it was a good goal. It was a good goal, and it was a good goal. Um, it was a good goal, but Newcastle United in the second half showed grit, passion, desire, determination to come back from a goal down to score two late goals, one in 75th minute through Fabian Schär, a long range effort, and in the 80th minute through Harvey Barnes. Come on, Newcastle. And that means Newcastle are sitting third in the table, as you can see. Newcastle are sitting third in the table, and and uh, and looking upwards, onwards and upwards, and we still haven't played well. So omens omens are looking good for Newcastle United. Hopefully, going forward we can you know put put in performances uh, as well as get the results out. But you choose results over performances any day of the week, and Newcastle United absolutely got the result today. There are no doubt about that, as you can see in the uh, in the uh, in the table. You can also see that. I mean, like, I'm not sure if you saw the Newcastle Wolves game or not, but the bench, there are no more injuries. Having said that, we saw Alexander Isak going off with the, I hope what isn't a serious injury, and hopefully he's back in the next game against Fulham, which is next week. Next week, hopefully Isak is back, and we can get another 3 points again on the road, this time against Fulham, and this time against Fulham. So time will tell. Callum Wilson can't be that far away, so injuries are not that bad in the next 3 or 4 games. Maybe Newcastle can have a squad where you even have to decide who goes on the bench and who doesn't even make the bench. So that's a good thing from Newcastle's point of view. I did my prediction for the Premier League, and I had Newcastle finishing third. That's where Newcastle are right now, third. Maybe I was a bit biased as a Newcastle fan. Maybe I am a bit biased, but I mean, if you don't back your players, are you even a fan? I mean, like, Manchester United fans must be thinking their team is best in the world. Manchester City fans, Arsenal fans, Liverpool fans, every team has the right to think that their team is best in the world, or has the best players in the world, or the player that plays for their team is better than what the counterpart that plays for their local rivals, or their or a team that is a historic rival. So I mean, yeah, yeah, that's how it is. But impressive win by Newcastle United, and I am absolutely delighted. Some of the other issues I want to talk about. I want to talk about. Uh, you know. During the week, there was an article by BBC, End of the Screamer, or Death of the Screamer. This weekend, we have seen, efforts from distance. John Durant's effort, the goal that he scored against, uh, Everton, which was absolutely stunning, and from John Duran, and the goal that Harvey Barnes scored, Fabian Schär scored, although Fabian Schär's effort was slightly deflected, but it was what it was, and onwards and upwards for Newcastle. So, and managers under pressure, Ange Postecoglou is certainly one of them, and Steve Cooper. There are rumblings in the social media, and we'll see who else, which other manager is under pressure as well. We'll find out going forward, like which manager is under pressure. So I mean, that's it from my side. I've gone through all the topical stuff. I've gone through all the topical stuff that has happened throughout the Premier League this weekend, over the last couple of weekends. So that's it from my side. Great results for some of the big teams. Arsenal won. Nottingham Forest is not a big team, but against uh, Nottingham Forest won against Liverpool. Manchester United get got a result. Newcastle got a result. Everton, I mean, terribly. They got absolute hammering, and the atmosphere there at Goodison Park is sure to be very low, and maybe Sean Dyche will come under increasing pressure from his team and from his team's fans, and who knows what might happen. But anyways, that's it from my side, guys. Thanks a lot for everyone who tuned in, however time you devoted to the however much time you devoted to the video. I am eternally thankful, and hopefully going forward we will get more active participation from other people as well, and they won't hesitate or think twice about subscribing. Just before I leave, may I request a solid request just before I leave. Uh, just before I leave, if you guys can consider subscribing to the channel. It is free of cost. I'm sure everyone on YouTube knows that. So please do consider subscribing to the channel. And if you don't, no problem. But if you can, then it will be a great help for me, and so do consider subscribing to the channel. Do leave a like if you like it or not. Do get involved in the chat as well, and I'll see you in my next few videos. So uh, so I'll take your leave now, and yeah, Champions League midweek. We will talk about that as well sometime later, maybe during the Champions League as well. And for now, thank you very much for tuning in. Take care. Stay safe. Bye for now.